Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. The Lakers have a game in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors, whom we've seen about 766 times already this season, including preseason. Um, yeah, we saw them twice at the end of the preseason, and I've since seen them twice. I think this is going to be the fourth meeting, and we still got to see them again on the 6th. And then after that, we got to see him again on the 3rd of April. So I would thoroughly appreciate if next season we only see the Golden State Warriors 3 times. If we see a team like 7 times between preseason and or 6 times rather between preseason and regular season, and then maybe have to see them in the playoffs, could the schedule makers do us a favor and just like don't schedule them to the end of the season next year? I'm tired. There's 2 teams I'm legitimately tired of: the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. We see Phoenix one more time somewhere near the same time we play the Golden State Warriors on 4/8. No, I'm looking at their schedule. Forgive me. That's not actually accurate. But we do see Phoenix one more time, and yeah, I just want to stop seeing the same teams over and over again. But tonight we will see Golden State. They will be ready for us, although they're going to be missing Jonathan Kuminga and Draymond Green, from what I understand, which should help a lot. But we do have some players to talk about on their team that we need to take very seriously so that we don't get beaten tonight. We did beat them the last time we saw them. Wish I knew exactly what that previous matchup was. 115-113 on Christmas Day. Steph Curry had a phenomenal 38-point performance, but Bron walked away with a great 31. Austin Reeves had 10 rebounds. Bron walked away with 10 assists as well. And we really skated out of that Christmas Day situation feeling great about ourselves. So tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers, of course, is Saturday. Sundays, we wear white, our weekend whites. And the Golden State Warriors are wearing these. I like the uniforms. I hate the floor that comes with it. Like, I loathe that floor. It is the ugliest floor in the NBA today, in my opinion. It's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. And they wear this uniform at home and have that city uniform with their floor often. In fact, the last game they played against the Chicago Bulls, they had it on too. It's just like, yo, it's not enough for y'all to have these ugly uniforms, but you got to wear them every game too? Come on, man. Go back to blue and yellow. That's what y'all about. That's the real colors. That's what we want to see Steph Curry run around in, not that ugly Chinatown color stuff. It's not cute at all. So, enough complaining. The Lakers, of course, we coming off a game where we beat the Boston Celtics. We feel great about ourselves. We destroyed them. They suck, and we reserve the right to continue to celebrate that very good win. I think we beat that team by like 20-something points. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like a 21-point victory against the Celtics or something like that. So we feel great about that win, man. But we do have the Golden State Warriors to attend to, and given the fact that we did beat them on Christmas, I'm pretty damn certain they're going to come ready to play. So when it comes to the Golden State Warriors, like I said, they just came off a big victory against the Chicago Bulls, where they had basically a 1-point game at halftime and then blew them out in the second half. Watching highlights of that game, I just felt like the Chicago Bulls just, they had this game under wraps and then just kind of took their foot off the gas, shot poorly. 39% from the field, 40% from the 3-point line. So the 40% is solid, but the shooting under 50% from the field kind of hurts you. They didn't rebound the ball as well either. They let 52 rebounds come off the rim for the the Golden State Warriors, and Golden State had a lot of offensive rebounds too, 15 of them to be exact. So that's really where Chicago got beaten. Man, we just got to be careful, because if you're giving up offensive rebounds to that degree, that means you have the personnel to pull it down, even without Draymond Green and who else? Anderson also didn't play. So this is what I want people to understand. They got a guy by the name of Quentin Post that we need to be aware of. Quentin Post is he a rookie? I don't know that he's a rookie, but he's a 7-footer, 238 pounds, who they're going to use a lot tonight because they don't have the bigs. This dude played 20 minutes against the Chicago Bulls, had 20 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. He shot 50% from behind the arc in that game. Also shot 50% from behind the arc against the Pacers about 4 nights ago. In limited shooting, but that's not the point. The point is he stretches the floor and he's huge. That is who I'm circling tonight as a player of emphasis to not let have a game of his life breakout night. Quinten Post is knocking on the door with the opportunities, showing that he's a legitimate player. He showed that, from what I understand, the G League as well. Last year he was very good or something like that. He's already made a name for himself in the G League. I believe this dude is primed at home to have a big game against us, given the fact that we have the center position issues that we do, and we probably are not paying attention to him. He comes off the bench, and in 20 minutes of play against the Bulls, he had 7 of 12, 5 of 10 from behind the arc. 5 of 10. Okay, this is not somebody to toy around with from behind the arc, and he's tall as hell. So the Golden State Warriors got him one. Nobody knows who he is. Basically, not in the league right now. He will try to make a name for himself tonight. Guaranteed. So I see it coming. Be ready for him. Also, another guy that really played great for the Golden State Warriors in that Chicago game, Guy Santos. I think it's called Gui, like Rui, but with a G. He had a really good game as well, made a name for himself against the Chicago Bulls. 7 of 10 from the field, 5 of 6 from behind the arc. So you see what I'm saying? They got two guys came out of nowhere and torched the Bulls in the second half, and that's ultimately what ended up happening to them. Moses Moody also had a big game, one of my favorite young players in this league. Moses Moody walked away with 16 points on 6 of 10 shooting from the field, 4 of 7 from behind the arc. So you see what the Golden State Warriors literally had 14 3-point shots made by people that are not regular rotation players in that Bulls game. They blitzed them with nobody names. Don't let it happen to you. Because Buddy Hield went 1 for 7. Gary Payton went 1 for 3. Trace Jackson Davis only attempted 1 shot. And they still blew the Chicago Bulls completely out. And it's because Quinten Post, Guy Santos, and Moses Moody were somebody else that night. And then, of course, you got to deal with Dennis Schroeder, who's also obviously noteworthy, somebody who's going to want to have a big game against the Lakers. Clearly, he had 2 stints with us. Yeah, so 11.7 assists for him against the Bulls. This was a prime understanding that this team has other players that you need to pay attention to. Podziemski also played pretty well, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 3 from behind the arc. He's coming back into form after being out. Be ready for him tonight. So, we're looking at this Golden State team. They're struggling. They're not that great of a squad. They need a win tonight. They're falling in the standings. I think they're in like 11th place or something like that at 22 and 22, 500 ball club. But they're finding stuff in places that we don't expect to see it. Guy Santos and Quinten Post are not supposed to be combining for 39 points, 5 assists, and 13 rebounds. It's not supposed to happen, or 12 rebounds, rather. That's not supposed to happen. So be very careful with those two. They're going to be down some big players tonight, of course, as we already mentioned, and those guys are going to get on the floor. They're very comfortable at home. We have our issues. And coming off a Boston Celtics win, this is just the type of game where you think, oh, yeah, we beat the Celtics. We'll definitely beat Golden State, and then get blown out. I know better. I saw that Boston Celtics game just like everybody else. I understand we won the game, but understand this. Boston Celtics shot under 30%, under 40% rather from the field. That's never going to happen again. Their two backcourt dynamos, Drew Holiday and White, combined for like 6 points. It's never going to happen again. That game was an outlier. It wasn't a game that you could say, okay, the Lakers have turned the corner because they beat the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics played their worst game against us, and we're coming off a back-to-back where they had gone into overtime the night before. They were tired on a road trip. Do not at all buy that. I love that we won that game, but if you think that's a sign that the Lakers are as good as the Celtics or something stupid like that, you're not paying attention. Not fully. You need to start if you really want to know what the Lakers are doing. They're playing better. I thought we did a good job against the taking care of things that we could control. But if you run into a team that's hot, you get a different result. That's what I'm telling you. 38% from the field, 34% from the three-point line. That's what Boston shot. That's never going to happen again. That's the best offense in the league. They only dropped 96 points on your building. It's never going to happen again. So you appreciate that win. You love that you beat them on the boards. That's something we can control. And taking care of the basketball, only having 10 turnovers, also something you really appreciate that you think you can duplicate. But you can't control the fact that the other team just did not shoot well. And the fact of the matter is, we really did. We shot very well. 42% from behind the arc, 35 shooting, 35 attempts, 15 made. 47% from the field. We shot well. Is that something we always do? No. So that was fool's gold. If you're buying the Boston Celtics victory, that's fool's gold. The Lakers are playing better, but this is not indicative of us being some great play team, turn the corner, ready to win a championship. That's not a smart man's thought. Not at all. And I want people to understand that. So as we go forward, looking at the Golden State Warriors continuing, obviously, you know me, I watched highlights on all the games necessary. Of course, we've played the Wizards and the Celtics recently, of whom they also played, so I'd already seen them highlights. I didn't have to watch all that. But, we can just mention that the last game they played before the Chicago game was a game against the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, where they actually had like a big lead in that game early on. They were up by as much as 18 points in that game and ended up giving it all back in the second half. So the tale of two halves has been a thing for the Golden State Warriors in 2 straight games. The first half of the Chicago game, they were, kind of going back and forth with Chicago, then blew them out in the second half. In the Golden State Warrior game, the Sacramento Kings game, they had a big lead in the first half and ended up giving it all the way back. So it's like that's really what it is. They're not playing consistent basketball one way or another, and we need to be ready for that tonight. Either way, they're probably not going to be the same team coming out the locker room if this continues to hold up. They shot poorly from the free throw line for their standards. Not 69%, 9 of 13, missed 4 free throws. I guess that's noteworthy. They shot 45% from behind the arc, 22 of 48, and still lost. Just crazy. 22 of 48 is really good. 46% from the field, 43 of 92 in this Sacramento matchup. And they won the boards. They had 12 offensive rebounds. Another noteworthy game. 2 games in a row where they had over 11 offensive rebounds. Be careful with them tonight. They're very, very elite rebounding team. They had 44 to Sacramento's 38. So where did they lose this game? They had 31 assists. Y'all know that's my key number. Where did they lose this game? Turnovers, where they lost the game against the Sacramento Kings. 19 turnovers to Sacramento's 8. They just simply did not take care of the basketball. And in the fast breaks, the Golden State Warriors did not have a single fast break point in this basketball game, to the 28 given up by the Sacramento Kings. So that's where they got their butts whooped. In the fast break, points conceded off turnovers. 27 points given up off 19 turnovers. That's where you lost, Golden State. That's how you got your butts kicked in Sacramento. That's how you gave up an 18-point lead, letting people get out in transition and smoke you while not getting a single fast break point in your entire game. DeMar DeRozan had 32. Sabonis went for his 26 and 18. So underrated, man. So underrated. De'Aaron Fox walked away with 14, 5 and 5. Very quiet game. Very bad shooting night for De'Aaron Fox. Probably why they were down by 18 in the first place, because he went 2 for 11 from the field, 0 3 from behind the arc, but hit all his free throws with 10 of 10 to get his numbers anyway. Malik Monk had 20 points, 3 steals, and 9 assists against the Golden State Warriors. Not too much going on off the bench, but Keon Ellis did have 8 points and 2 steals. So their starters just ultimately kept running and running and running, erased the deficit, and then ran past the Golden State Warriors. Wiggins walked away with 25 points. Steph Curry had 14 and 12 assists. Buddy Yield walked away shooting 50% from the field, 6 of 12, 5 of 9 from behind the arc. So that's a hot Buddy game going back to Sacramento, his old team. Moses Moody had 11 off the bench. Guy Santos, again, played well, 16 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds on 6 of 9 shooting, 4 or 5 from behind the arc. Do you see what I'm seeing here? Guy Santos has missed 2 threes in the last 2 games, y'all. Keep an eye open for number 15. He ain't playing games out there at all. Quentin Post was 2 of 5 in that one, 5 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Dennis Schroeder had 7 points, 5 assists. So, yeah, man, the numbers are telling us pay attention to Guy Santos. He's hot. He's on a super heater right now. He ain't missing nothing. Throw some defense at him, JJ, or get burnt, period. Trey Jackson-Davis, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 or 6 from the field. He's a Laker killer, too. As you guys know, we talk about the Golden State Warriors every time we see them. Andrew Wiggins and Trayce Jackson-Davis are Laker killers. They always play well against us, better than most games against most teams. So expect Andrew Wiggins to have a good game tonight. It's coming. He rarely plays poorly against the Lakers, no matter what's going on. And so that's what I want to say. Those two are to be circled, but Guy Santos is the dude that's hot right now. Hot. Like super duper. So be ready for him tonight. And he's at home. He's going to play well tonight. Of course, we know about the game against the Celtics. We ain't even really got to go over that. The Celtics blew them all the way out. It was absolutely embarrassing. 125-85. That was a hideous display of shooting by the Golden State Warriors. And we talked about it in the game about before the Celtics game, the pregame for the Celtics. We talked all about that game. It was ugly. We don't have to revisit it. And then the Golden State Warriors did get a victory against the Washington Wizards, as we talked about previously in regards to the Wizards game, pregame. You can go back and watch that if you care about that much. They scored 122, 114, and you had a situation where what's the young fella's name? Jordan Poole came back and went for 38 points against his old squad. So that's really what it was. But ultimately, they tanked it out anyway. And Golden State was able to get a victory with Andrew Wiggins going for 31 and 11. So another hot Andrew Wiggins game. And that's to be understood. So, yeah, man, before that, they played against the Minnesota Timberwolves in a tight matchup. If I'm not mistaken, that was a very close one, where they won the game by 1 point, a much-needed win for them after they dropped in 2 losses against Eastern Conference teams. They came into Minnesota and were able to get the win against the Timberwolves by shooting 50% from behind the arc. 18 points, 18 threes made on 36 attempts, which is really great. And shot 48% from the field, 40 of 82. They did not win actually they did win the boards there. They did by 4 and had 14 offensive rebounds. So they're getting offensive rebounds really no matter what. Really, no matter what, they're getting boards. We have to crash the glass if we have an idea about what's going to work for us. It's going to be on the glass, defensive glass specifically. Don't give up Golden State's second chance points. Yeah, what else is going on here? 13 turnovers to their 9, so they did turn the ball over more, but ultimately giving themselves second chance points really just allowed them to edge out the Minnesota Timberwolves, who just shot a little worse. They actually shot pretty well. 44% from the field is okay. 45% from behind the arc is really good. But when you got a team that's shooting just as well, if not a little better, 18 to 36 for the Warriors, 17 to 37 for the Timberwolves. So you lost by 1. I mean, it literally came down to just the team just being a little hotter than you, and then rebounding the ball a little better than you. So it was a very close basketball game, of course. Once again, Andrew Wiggins had 24 points. Big game there for Steph Curry as well. 31 points, 8 assists on 7 of 12 shooting from behind the arc. He really smoked them. Buddy Hield, 3 of 6 from behind the arc for 18 points. Moses Moody, 3 of 4 from behind the arc, 11 points. So Moody, Hield, Guy Santos, these dudes are shooting well, man. Quentin Post, 5 threes in the last one against Chicago. We got to guard the perimeter. I don't need to tell you that against Golden State, but I do need to let you know that there are some different people shooting the ball extremely well right now. So the beat goes on for the Warriors. They're still shooting threes. They're not a great defensive team. A lot of those games were bad defensive games. They're giving up a lot of points every night, and that is something that needs to be said. 115 against the Wolves, 114 against the Wizards, 125 against the Celtics, 123 against the Kings. Now, they came back down to earth for 106 against the Bulls, but it's the Bulls. I think if we put a little emphasis on our offense, play some really good defense and rebound the ball, take care of the basketball, I think we can beat the Golden State Warriors tonight on their home floor. We are a better basketball team than them this year. I think that part has already been established. Golden State is going through the motions. They probably need a trade or two to make their team better. They definitely need Draymond Green on that basketball floor for their continuity and things like that. But they are finding stuff out of Quentin Post and Guy Santos and Moses Moody as of right now. So we need to be very careful with them. Andrew Wiggins is taking on a big role right now since some guys are out. And Podziemski's slowly starting to get healthy as well. Be careful with him on the glass. He is a rebounding guard that shoots the 3. So these are things that we, as much as we've seen the damn Warriors, we know the scouting report on just about everybody they got. Trace Jackson Davis, Wiggins, we know these people. Obviously DS, we've had him on our team twice, so we know him as well as anyone. We just got to do what we need to do. This is not a good Golden State Warrior team. They don't know one another very well yet, with DS coming in and different guys starting to make a name for themselves, stuff like that. Be aware of a Lindsey Waters III. We know how well he can shoot. These type of things need to be understood, man. And if we take care of business, respect the scouting report, we'll get it. Another win against the Warriors just like we did on Christmas, man. That's what it really comes down to. So that's my point of view, man. I just wanted to give y'all, as I always do, a look on, into the past 5 games of the opponent we're facing. I'd be lying if I said I was super excited about this matchup, but what I know is that most of the time we play the Golden State Warriors, it's really a great game. If you look back, dating back many years, anytime Bron and Steph on the floor at the same time, special things are bound to happen. What I am encouraged by is the fact that we're able to get something good out of Dalton Connect over the last 2 games. He's been finding his confidence. The shots been falling. We've been ramping up his minutes slowly but surely. Hopefully he can have some good minutes tonight and play very well on the road. We could use his three-point shooting and his rebounding prowess tonight. Obviously, Austin Reaves needs to be mentioned. His assists and his ability to get others involved is so important. LeBron James establishing what the team needs every night. He's been doing a good job over the last couple games of identifying what needs to be done and doing that. When it was time for us to get big assists against the Wizards, if I'm not mistaken, he had a big assist game. Last game, we really needed to rebound the ball. That's what we circled as something that was very important to try to defeat the Boston Celtics. He walked away with a huge rebounding game. He's given us exactly what we need to defeat the opponent in front of us, and I think he's locked in right now in that type of way. So I'm very excited about the type of game LeBron could have tonight. And against Steph Curry, I expect a big night from the King. I really do. And Anthony Davis, I thought his energy wasn't that good against the Celtics. I thought he was going through the motions. There's been much said about him wanting a center on this team. And, the Lakers are coming into the trade deadline in a couple weeks. I made a video last night discussing the idea of maybe getting Vucevic or Valanciunas. I think it would be a decent idea for us to try to get those guys if we can get them for a price that we appreciate, just to make Anthony happy, get him locked in again. I thought his numbers have been good over these last 2 games, but his energy has been off. He ain't been all that energetic. He hasn't looked all that engaged to me. And so that's just my point of view. I thought the Celtics did a good job on him as well, kind of catering a lot of their defense against him, and he still got his numbers. But I'm just sensing something about Anthony Davis is kind of distant, not quite as he normally would be, and we need to get him locked in if we're going to move in the direction that we want to go. His shooting numbers he shot well, 9 of 18, and 50% from the field. So that's not the problem. Got the 3 blocks, 8 rebounds. It's all right, but it's just something about his body language for me just didn't. He wasn't really there. It wasn't really there for me. A lot of frustration, it seems. So that's going to be something we pay attention to. Austin Reaves' three-point ball fell really well. Gabe Vincent's been shooting very well. We need that type of stuff to continue. Dalton Connect, of course, as we already mentioned. So, Dorian Finney-Smith, getting him involved with his corner three-point shot. I think if we continue to let him get his three-point shots off, we'll keep him engaged on the defensive end. His rebounding and all that stuff comes along, but his offensive game is reliant greatly upon people finding him in the corner and letting him hit that shot consistently. And of course, Rui Hachimura, a lot has been said about him potentially getting moved and things like that. There's the frustrations with some of the decisions he makes, getting blocked, driving at the rim against shot blockers, stuff like that. We just want him to be smart. But at the end of the day, I think the best thing for Rui right now is continued consistent looks at shooting the ball. Nothing under 9 attempts every night. And we've been doing a good job over the last 3 games of making sure he gets above 9 attempts. I need that to continue. He didn't shoot all that well against the Celtics. But I think if we continue to give him a shot diet that's above 9 attempts, we're going to get more. We're going to get probably 18 points a game out of him in a lot of nights. He's a very efficient shooter, and we need to continue to allow him to get those attempts, quality attempts, not him driving at the rim against people that are going to swat him to hell. Please, seriously. So that's really what it is. I'd love to see some consistency out of Max Christie as well. His shooting numbers are up and down, but when he's a scorer, we basically win. When he's not a scorer, we have to find that scoring somewhere else to win. So it would be great if he could snap into some type of consistency scoring the ball. We know his defense is always there. 3 balls have been falling a little bit too. We want him to continue to take that shot. So that's really where we're at, man. That's where we're at. I'm really happy with the Lakers over the last 2 games. It seems like we've been locked in beating Eastern Conference teams, but we have been losing the Western Conference team. This is a Western Conference team. So with the exception of that Clipper game that really just exposed how much better they are than us, we've been beating teams, man. Beat the Heat, beat the Brooklyn. Weren't really impressed with that game, but it was a win. Beat the Wizards, beat the Celtics. So now we got to come in and go to State, take care of business up there, and continue our road trip where we really do see this as probably the easiest road trip of the season, where we will see the likes of Charlotte, Philadelphia, Washington. Of course, you got to see the Knicks and the Clippers as well, considering that a road game, even though it's you're back home against the Clippers at the end of that road trip. So it's basically Golden State, Charlotte, Philly, Washington, and New York. And these are all going to be early games, y'all. So everything before 6 o'clock. So be ready for early games all the way through next Saturday, for which I despise very much. And some back-to-backs too. That Charlotte game and that Philly game Monday and Tuesday. So, you know, it's going to be a crunch week for all of us who do this Laker thing. This is the type of stuff that wears us down, but we'll do our very best to keep up on this channel, and I'm sure others will as well. Keep you guys entertained and updated on what's going on with purple and gold. But that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Salute Kobe for the Kobe minutes. Just passed about a minute ago. And, you know, we have work to do, man. Anytime Steph Curry's on the floor, it's a big game, no matter what. And he's definitely going to be healthy. So let's take advantage of the fact that Dre and Jonathan Kuminga will not be out there. Be ready for Vando, who returns tonight. Almost let this video end without mentioning that we get the Vando back. I don't know how many minutes he's going to get, probably less than 12, to be honest with you. But we're going to find a way to work him into the equation. Hopefully starting tonight, he will be available. He's not on the injury report at this time. I can tell you who is before we go, though. Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, both game-time decisions. Jalen Hood-Schifino, of course, out. LeBron James, also a game-time decision. Christian Wood, game-time decision. To not see Vando on the injured list is absolutely wild. It's the first time in over a year where we literally do not see him there. That is crazy. So, yeah, we're getting healthier, man. I expect all those guys who are game-time decision to probably suit up for this one. I do. I don't expect anybody to be out. That is game-time decision. And for the Golden State Warriors, the injury report says that Dre's out, Jonathan's out, as we mentioned. Gary Payton II will be a game-time decision. Podziemski is a game-time decision, and Andrew Wiggins is a game-time decision. Again, I don't expect none of those people who are game-time decision to miss this basketball game. I just don't. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Welcome back, Vando, BDF 44. Pay attention to Guy Santos. I'm out.